The federal government is looking into creating a national plastics registry. Ottawa says this tool would be used to track the life cycle of plastic items in the economy. The government launched public consultations this week to get a sense of how such a registry could work. CBC's Kate McKenna joins us now from Ottawa. So Kate, tell us a little explanation of what the federal government is doing here.
Well, you might assume, this is part of the federal government's plan to lower the amount of pollution produced by plastic. So as you mentioned, they have launched these public consultations. They're expected to last about a month. But what the federal government says it's trying to do is track exactly how much plastic is introduced into the Canadian economy, and then from there see what happens to it at the end of its usefulness. Is it burnt? Is it reused? Is it repaired in some way? Exactly what is happening in Canada right now when it comes to plastics. And of course, some provinces and territories already have programs that are sort of similar to this, but Environment Canada says the data that's being collected right now is a little bit scattershot, and as a result, it's not as useful as it could be. So what's currently kind of being floated or discussed is that plastic producers would have a key role in this sort of tracking and being part of this registry. And we have been hearing from plastic producers that they do want to be part of the federal government's plan to reduce the amount of pollution. We've heard from them that they feel that the federal government has put the onus on people, on consumers, and not on the producers themselves. They say they want that switched in part because they feel that they can play an important role when it comes to lowering the amount of pollution that's produced by plastics. So as I mentioned, these public consultations are expected to last about a month, but we've already heard a little bit of feedback about a potential plastics registry, and we can probably expect more in the coming days as this really takes off.
Far in terms of a reaction to this whole idea of having a plastics registry?
So we're just coming out of, the Christmas break right now, but we did hear from the Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith. She posted on X, formerly Twitter, yesterday saying a national plastics registry like for handguns, but run by Minister Stephen Guilbeault. Reading a little bit in between the lines there with that kind of thinky face emoji, we can almost hear her skepticism about this. I mean, of course, the handgun registry that was put forward by the federal government was also deeply controversial, particularly among hunters. And we do know that this Premier and the Environment Minister are often at loggerheads, almost weekly, it feels like, in the last few months over things like an emissions cap on oil and gas and, a plastic ban. And of course, in the last few months, the environmental agenda of the federal government has faced quite a bit of scrutiny. Some might even say some setbacks. We can think of, I think 2 months ago now, the federal court did find that a single-use plastic ban law that was created by the federal government was both unreasonable and unconstitutional. The federal government says it is going to challenge that, but right now the Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault has kind of found himself on his heels when it comes to defending some of the more ambitious plans that he has for lowering pollution and lowering emissions. So we can expect probably in the coming weeks more discussion around this particular subject.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kate. The CBC's Kate McKenna in Ottawa.